Hello students, so let us begin the lesson, that is a storage and memory device. A computer, a storage and memory device. So in this lesson we will see what is the data and information and how data is going to store in a system, then what are the units we are going to measure the data, so memory measurement units, then types of memory, so what are the types of memory, then the devices which we are going to use to store the data, so that is storage devices. So in this lesson, so that all the points are going to come. So let us begin with the introduction. So why this storage is required? Because now if you are doing the work in a system, now if you want to access that information, if you want to access that data after few days, then that data should be stored, then only it is possible to access. If you have not stored, if there is no any storage capacity in a computer, then it is not possible to access that. So that's why storage is very important. Okay? And that storage, it gets stored with its own units, and the computer cannot work on its own. So computer needs for each and every step it needs an instruction. Okay, we have to pass the instruction for each and every step, then only according to that instructions computer works. It will not take any of its own decision. Understood? So while giving the instruction, if you made a mistake, so you are going to get the wrong result. So that is the mistake of a operator. Understood? The whatever the instruction, whatever the input you are giving, according to that input it processes the data. This set of characters like alphabets, digits or special characters that present facts or figures is known as data. Data means what? Data is nothing but alphabet or number or characters. So it represents the facts or it represents the figures. So that is all data. So that is all information. So when this data is processed by the processing unit, that is CPU, it is known as information. When that raw data gets processed, then that processed data is known as information. Understood? What is information? Information means processed data. Processed data is known as information. So that same information, same introduction given here in the slide. Understood? Yeah, you should remember that unprocessed data is meaningless. For example, now if data is not processed, that is called unprocessed. So unprocessed data is meaningless. There is no meaning for that unprocessed data. So when such data is organized and converted into meaningful information, it becomes useful. So when we convert and when we organize that converted so that information, it becomes a meaningful information. So that the data can be used. So now I'm going to take a next point, that is data storage units. Whatever we feed into the computer gets converted into a machine understandable code called machine code. See, computer doesn't know English language, it knows only 0 and 1, it knows only binary language. Okay, so that is 0 and 1 is called as binary code, binary digits. It understands only 0 and 1, but we are giving the instruction in the form of English language, so that English characters will be processed and it converts in the form of 0 and 1. So that 0 and 1 converted form is called as machine code. So these two digits 0 and 1 are called binary digits or bits. 0 and 1, it is called as binary digits or bits. And this 0 and 1 language, this binary language, only machine can understand. We cannot understand that 0 and 1 language. Here memory measurement unit table is given. So 1 bit. So 1 bit means, so that is binary digit, and quantities, so 0 or 1. So then 4 bits is called as nibble. So 4 bits is equal to nibble or half byte. Then 8 bits is equal to 1 byte. Quantity is 1 byte. 1024 byte is equal to 1 kilobyte, 1 KB. 1024 kilobyte is equal to 1 MB, 1 megabyte. 1024 MB is equal to 1 gigabyte, 1 GB. You usually say 1 GB memory card, 2 GB memory card, 32 GB storage capacity in a mobile, 16 GB storage capacity. So now 1 GB means 1024 MB. 1024 GB means 1024 gigabyte is equal to 1 terabyte. 1024 terabyte is equal to 1 petabyte. 1024 petabyte is equal to 1 hexabyte, and 1024 hexabyte is equal to 1 zettabyte. So these are the units, and these are the symbols, full forms and quantities given in this table. Okay, so you can refer. Once you go through this table, you will understand. Now point comes types of memory. So what are the types? See, that hierarchy is given. So first one is memory. So that memory is divided into two parts. So one is internal memory and second one is external memory. This internal memory is also called as primary memory, and this external memory is called as secondary memory. Okay, so another name for internal memory is primary, and another name for external memory is secondary memory. So in an internal memory, again two parts, that is RAM and ROM. RAM is random access memory and ROM is read only memory. So in an external or in a secondary memory, here some categories are given: hard disk, then CD, DVD, Blu-ray disc, flash drive or pen drive, then memory card. So these all are external memories. External memory, so that is permanent. Permanent in a sense, we are not going to lose the data from this memory, this is secondary memory. But from the primary memory, from the RAM, we are going to lose the data if power goes off, or if you turn off the system directly, you are going to lose the data from RAM. So that is a random access memory. But you are not going to lose anything from these devices, this hard disk, CD, DVD, pen drive, memory card. Okay, so these are types of memories. Now point is internal memory. This internal memory, as I told you, it is also called as primary memory or main memory. It is the built-in memory designed to store data and instructions while the computer is working. So this is built-in memory, and the instruction or data, it is stored in this internal memory. So when computer is working, so this instruction, this data will be used. There are two types of internal memory. So one is RAM and second one is ROM. So that are the two types: random access memory and read only memory. Now what is RAM and what is ROM, we'll see. So random access memory, it stores the information temporarily and works like a blackboard that can be constantly overwritten with new data. So this RAM is like a blackboard. See how we are using blackboard. First we will write something, then when we want to write a next point, we are going to rub the previous contents. Means continuously we are overwriting on that blackboard. So same way RAM also. So continuously you can overwrite the new data in that RAM, random access memory. The information stored in this memory is lost when you turn off the computer or when the power goes off. So it holds the instruction, it holds the information only till your system is on. If you turn off your system, automatically information will be removed. Means you will lose the information. Information is not going to remain in this memory. Understood? So that is ROM. Or if power goes in between, if you turn off, so then also this random access memory so gets empty. Means everything gets vanish. Next point is ROM, read only memory. It holds the startup instructions that prepare a computer for use. Now when we start a system loads several files. So that process is called as booting process. Booting process means the files which are required to, some files are required to start the system, and that files are stored in ROM. Now what happens, that files gets loaded from this ROM. Okay, that startup instructions, startup files are stored in this ROM, read only memory. The instructions stored in ROM cannot be changed but can only be read. So this is very important point. You cannot change anything, you cannot modify, you cannot alter anything from this memory ROM, but you can read the information from this ROM. It retains the stored information even when the power is switched off. If power goes off or if you turn off the system also, doesn't matter, the information remains same. Information remains in this memory. You are not going to lose anything. So this is all about read only memory. So these are the two types, random access memory and read only memory. So in the next class we will continue with the external memory. Thank you for watching.